Hey everyone, welcome to the fourth and final live check-in of the Declutter Your Budget Challenge. I am so excited to be wrapping up the challenge, not really because the challenge is over, but because hopefully you guys have made a lot of progress in the past 8 days, and I'm really excited to be going on that journey with you guys. And hopefully taking the next steps with you and continuing on your journey outside of the challenge. So I'm just really excited. This challenge is one of my favorite things that I have ever launched or ever done, or ever hosted, however you want to put that. And I love that it is free, and I love that there is so much content in it, and that you can really make a lot of progress just by going through this free challenge. And you can kind of get a taste of each little aspect of your budget, as far as like the mindset stuff and all of the organization, and then the spending and the bills and the debt and the goals and all of that. So I feel like it really gives you a good head start, and it gives you like a good kind of chapter one for the rest of your journey. And so I'm always really excited to share it, and always really excited to see it growing. It is my most popular by far of all of my freebies. And so I was really excited to launch it again live and host it again live and redo all of the live check-ins, and kind of revamp all of the emails and all of that. And so it's been really fun to do it again a second time. So let me know, as those of you who are finishing the challenge, just take a couple of seconds. I would really appreciate if you would just take a couple of seconds and reply to an email, or just, send me a regular email, or send me a DM and pin video. Okay, sorry. Just send me a quick DM or a quick email, and just let me know some of your takeaways from the challenge. A quick testimonial, a couple of sentences would be so helpful for future people who are going to go through the challenge. So I would love to kind of put your testimonial on the sign up page if you have some great takeaways, great wins from the challenge, or things that you want future challenge participants to know about the challenge. That would be super helpful to me and to them. So if you would not mind taking a couple of seconds to do that, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Let's see. So I don't have any specific questions for these last 2 days of the challenge. So I'm just going to kind of refresh, give you guys a little bit of encouragement, and I want to do a little bit of a screen share again with you guys tonight. So day 7 was simplifying your debt. And I feel like debt is, one of those really scary things again. And so hopefully this day of the challenge got you guys to at least add up all of your debt, at least, log into those accounts that maybe you haven't logged into in a while, and see where you stand with things, and just kind of get it all in one place, and kind of just rip the Band-Aid off and, go from there. And I know for us, adding up our debt was a really, really scary step. And we actually budgeted for about 2 or 3 months until we actually added up our debt because a couple of different reasons. For one, I was scared to know the truth. For two, at that point, my goal really wasn't to be debt-free. I didn't, the debt-free community on Instagram wasn't a thing back then. I didn't follow bloggers or listen to podcasts or anything like that. All I had done was read the Total Money Makeover, and I Googled a few things. That was all I really had done at that point. So I didn't really know that there was this whole movement of being debt-free. And to me, I had always been under the impression that debt was so normal, that everyone had a credit card, that everyone carried a credit card balance, that old people paid off their house. Like, that wasn't something that you really ever did. And if you did, it was like because you were retired. And that was really the only time you had a paid off house. That wasn't like a normal thing. paying for vehicles in cash. That was something that rich people did. That wasn't something that normal people like me could ever really aspire to do. The concept of having even $10,000 in a savings account was mind blowing. I remember this story. Like most of y'all know, my husband flies for work, and he was sitting next to an older lady on a plane, and she was like balancing her checkbook, which that probably gives away how old she was if she was like literally balancing a checkbook on a plane in this decade or this century. But anyway, and he said he kind of just, glanced over, and she had a $10,000 balance in her checking account. And he was like, I just can't even like imagine, like that's goals, like that's insane. And I just remember this conversation, and this conversation was probably 7 or 8 years ago. It was a long time ago. And before we even really started a budget, and that was one of our goals. And it was like, maybe one day, like when our kids are grown, we'll have like $10,000 in the bank. Like that's not something that normal people have. And now, this far into our journey, our bank account is sitting at like 30,000, maybe 35. I can't even remember. It's just, our emergency fund alone is 15,000, and then we're saving for our future house. And it seems like a lifetime ago that we were even thinking about that we were even in that mindset. And it was just such a different world. So when we first started our journey, that's where we were. So adding up our debt was like not really our biggest concern. We just wanted to make sure that we were paying our bills on time. We wanted to quit making payments late because our credit score was getting just hit so hard. We had one at one point on our credit score, which, a credit score is not the end all be all, but it was at that time because we were trying to refinance our house, the house that we ended up selling, long story. And so we were trying to like, okay, we have to figure something out because we can't even refinance our house. And so I remember printing out our credit score, and you can see all of the hits on your account of where you've paid your account late. And it was like a yellow hit if you paid it 30 days late, and like an orange hit if it was 60 days late or something like that. And there was at one point, they were all over the place. I don't know if I think I still have that piece of paper that I made a spreadsheet. And there was at one point where we had a 30-day late, 60-day, and then 30-day on the other side, 3 months in a row. And I was just, we got called into the vice president of the bank's office on that one. Yeah. It was rough. It was rough times, y'all. Rough times. So I laugh about it now, but it's not funny. It wasn't funny. Yes, I do still have it. I'm going to have to frame this one of these days. So I don't know if you guys can see this. Let me click back over to my view of the camera to see if you guys can see this. But this is really just what I did. And I literally just made this on Excel or Google Sheets, or I don't even know what, one of the two. And then every single month that, your credit report, it stays on there for 4 years. So every single month that we would have our payments on time, I would go and check off, the oldest one until we got to the point where they were all okay. They were all paid on time. And this is the one up here that you can see. I don't know if you can see that very well, but 30, 60, and 30 days. And this was on the house that we were using as a rent house. It was pretty rough. But I remember doing this, and I remember that really was our goal, was to really just pay our bills on time. So paying off our debt wasn't the first goal you're welcome, Deidre. I share so others don't feel alone, because it's scary, and you feel so isolated when you're doing this. And so we really just wanted to pay our bills on time. Complete, honestly, like that was goals then. Being debt free wasn't even in our horizon. Cash flowing vehicles, paying off a house, things like that, that wasn't even like, didn't even seem possible at the time. So it's like 3 months in, and then we were like, we're kind of getting the hang of this. And like, I was listening to like the Dave Ramsey show more. I was reading more personal development books. Like I read The Power of Positive Thinking. What else did I read at that time? I don't know. I kind of started to get into more of that positive mindset type of space. And I was like, maybe there's more that's possible. That took me 3 months, which in a way I'm like, okay, that's better than it never happening or taking a year. But also I feel like I drug my feet on paying off debt, on even knowing what our total was for 3 months. And y'all, like, you can make so much progress in a short 3 months. And to me, I look back and I'm like, I could have been debt free 3 months sooner, or even a month or two sooner. And a lot of us, like, we would gladly take that month or two or three, right? So really, I share this story to tell you that if you're right now, you're thinking small, you're thinking like paying your bills on time, that's as far in the horizon as you can see. That seems big, right? You're not alone in that feeling. And know that the more that you walk closer and closer to that horizon, the more horizon will appear to you, if that makes sense. I think there's some kind of saying about stairs. I think, is it like a Martin Luther King Jr. quote maybe about the stairs, and they appear. That's a terrible way to translate that. But I believe there's a quote about that, about, you're walking in, and sometimes you have to take the first step before you can see the whole entire staircase. And that is exactly how this is. So if you're feeling like overwhelmed, like you don't want to add up your debt, or you did, and you're like, oh God, this is terrible. You're not alone in that. And just know that this is why I'm here. This is why everyone in the debt-free community shares what they share, is to be like, look, y'all, we're on the other side, or we're also going through this. We've been there. Like, you're not alone. And if someone like me, who thought, it's not ever possible to be debt-free, it's not ever possible to cash flow cars, or we didn't even do the $1,000. You're supposed to do the recommended emergency fund is $1,000. We didn't even do that because $1,000 felt insane. We were like, we're not rich. Who has $1,000 just laying around? So we did 500 when we first started, which is better than nothing. And it took one $800 emergency for us to be like, oh, ow, okay, 500 is not really enough. And there's a lot of people that'll tell you 1,000 isn't enough. But my point is that we thought that was crazy then, 6 years ago, 7, 8 years ago, right? And look at where we are now. And now I'm thinking, like, is it really possible to be a millionaire and be like a regular person? Like, I'm a stay-at-home mom. Like, I'm a homeschooling mom who, sits here in this little corner and talks to the world. I'm like, I'm nobody special. My husband, he is such a hard worker, but he didn't go to college. We're average people. And I'm like, is it possible for us to really be a millionaire? And I feel like in 20 years, or however many years, when I look back, I'm going to be like, oh, little Sammy, you didn't even think it was possible. And look at where we are now, just like I look back at me 6 years ago. So I want to share those words of encouragement with y'all, because I want you to know that it will get easier. It will appear if it feels like it's not possible now. So that kind of ties into day 7 and day 8, because day 7 was simplifying your debt and day 8 is simplifying your goals. And so basically how we started with the mindset, I wanted us to end with the goals, because the mindset is that foundation of, we got to get our head in the right place. And then all of the days 2 through 7, I mean, that's doing the physical work. That's getting your hands on your budget. That's adding up numbers. That's ripping the Band-Aids off. That's logging into accounts that you haven't been logged into in forever. And that's getting your hands on your budget. So we've got the foundation of the mindset, all of the hands on the budget, the actual numbers, and then on the very top is the goals, because we've got to think big vision. We've got to think big picture. Okay. And your dreams are not going to happen on accident, and your dreams don't just magically happen. We have to work for them. And I shared a post, was it yesterday? Yes. Time is like, I shared a post yesterday of the picture that my husband took from his work boat of the sunset or sunrise. Sorry, my bad. Sunrise. And it was really, it was a gorgeous picture for starters. And I was talking about how, basically he has, sorry, my budget binder's being crazy. He's had the same job for 13 years before we even got married. And he has got, it's a union, and we're blessed that they get cost of living raises basically every year. But that's all. Like, we've gotten cost of living raises, and which basically means that it goes up with inflation. So the more the more things cost, the more we get paid, and it really isn't that. It isn't a real raise for all of these years. And we were at that point with the credit report, like I just showed you, with paying a house payment, which was our second house, which was supposed to be our rent property that we couldn't afford. We didn't have a savings account. We were trying to be real estate investors because that's what people told us we should do. Well, don't sell that house, because we were going to upgrade in house. Don't sell it. Turn it into a rental property. That's smart. It's not smart if you don't have a savings account. It's not smart if you are consistently late, so much so that the vice president of the bank calls you personally and is like, you need to come in. We have a problem. And, and basically gives you an ultimatum. And it was terrifying. And then it was still several months before we wrote out an actual budget. And so I shared in that post that basically nothing has changed. His career is still the same. Our income is more or less the same. The things that have changed are our mindsets and our behaviors. The fact that we thought then that we deserved a 3,200 square foot house because, he has a good job. So we are supposed to have a big house. We have kids, so they need room. And people kept telling us, well, you'll grow into the house. You'll grow into the house. No, it was 5 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, insane. And, now we're in a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom rent house that was built in the 50s. My closet doesn't even have a door. We don't have a dishwasher. Not complaining, but saying how night and day it is. And so the things that have changed is our mindsets and our behaviors towards what we thought we deserved and what we actually need. And there is a little bit of things that we actually want, but now it's not so muffled. Now it's more of we can actually enjoy those things. We used to go out to eat every day, sometimes multiple times a day. Now it's maybe once or twice a week, maybe. And when it is, it's either special, it's either a special occasion, or it is desperate, dear Lord, someone deliver me a pizza. There's not really much else. Today, for example, me and my oldest daughter, we went and got our hair done today, and we went to lunch, and it was kind of spur of the moment. I was like, you think you want to, we could probably sneak away for a little bit longer and go get some lunch. And so we walked down the street a little bit and we got some lunch, and it was a $30 lunch, because of course we had to get dessert and we had to get all the things. And it was a treat, and it was great, and we actually appreciated it. Exactly. Deidre said you enjoy it more. And because it's not you're not just eating fast food because you're hungry. It's not normal anymore, right? So it's more of a treat. And things like that mindset, that's a mindset shift. And it's I'm going out to eat because well, what else am I supposed to do? Right. It's a mindset shift. So if you haven't read that post, jump over to Instagram and read it. It was I felt like a lot of people needed to hear it. It was just really on my heart. And he had texted me that beautiful picture, and I was like, I'll just reuse your photography here, and post it, and just kind of give us both a shout out of like how far we really have come, and to encourage y'all that if we can go from where we were to where we are, all the things that changes was we downgraded in house a lot. We paid off our truck and didn't upgrade. We drive older vehicles. We cash flow them now. If we can't cash flow them, we don't need them. And, we've just done a complete turnaround on our behaviors and our mindset. And I think ultimately that is what you have to do. And, you can do the no spin challenges. That's fantastic. And I actually talked about that in yesterday's new podcast. Like, no shame to people who do no spin challenges. No shame to people who are like, they don't go out to eat for like the entire month or something like that. That's fantastic. And I know that that's really helpful. But if you don't do that foundational mindset and behavior work of what causes you to go out to eat too much, or what causes you to have a shopping addiction, or what causes you to think that your worth is tied up in how your house looks and how your car looks, how your clothes look, all of that, a no spin challenge is never going to fix the root of the problem, if that makes sense. And that's basically what yesterday's podcast was about. So if that message speaks to you, I've got a whole entire hour of that for you on that podcast episode. I was like on fire, and I was sitting here, and it was so late because my children would not go to sleep. So I recorded this episode at like 11, somewhere between like 11 and midnight. So tired, but I was just like on fire. And I really like to record those late night episodes because I'm just so tired that like I almost don't have a filter anymore. And I'm just like, y'all don't understand. And it just comes out. So sometimes that's kind of fun to just do those. I'm like, I'm exhausted and y'all need to hear this. But yeah, so that's really what changes things. So I do want to stop rambling about that post because you can go read it. But I want to talk a little bit about goals, and then I want to screen share real quick, and I want to show you a little bit about actually simplifying your debt and how you can do that in the screen share stuff. Hang on. I'm going to open this, and what does that mean? I want to show you guys this post, and I scrolled way back in Instagram to find it. So y'all are about to see it. Let's see. Hang on a second. All right. Okay. So this post is from, let me see if I can make this bigger. It was really old. How long ago was it? March 25th, 2018. So I went back and I found this post because I was like, I loved it so much and it was really random. And I was actually just sitting here one day, like going through my budget binder, and I save like a lot of this stuff. Like I try not to be a hoarder, but some of it's like, you just need to save it. Like the credit score checking off thing. You just need to save it to remember where you've come from. And I said in the post, like, I keep all of my old goal sheets so I can go back and I can see the progress I've made over the years. And so this is a real example. This was June 2015. We started in, when did we start in? Okay. Which child was, Izzy was like, yeah, she was almost a year old. So it would have been like October 2014. So this is how many months we were into our journey. I think this was our oldest goal sheet that I hung on to anyway. So this was like, you can tell that I put a lot of work into this because I color coordinated stuff and, so obviously I knew I was pregnant with Melly here because we were doing like our baby savings. And I think when I got pregnant with her, that was really like our jump of like, we got to save some money. Like we're doing this right. I was already pregnant with Melanie when we finished paying off Izzy's medical bills, and they're 20 months apart. So we were like, we're going to do better with this third baby. So there were like all these things and all these goals. And this is an example, y'all. This is on a notebook piece of paper. This was done with my girls' markers. This is like, I didn't have any fancy markers. And who cares? Like, it's here. And it was one of the things that got us to where we are now. And so if I wouldn't have sat down at the kitchen table after breakfast one morning and grabbed a piece of notebook paper and stole one of my kids' mark, or two apparently, because I had to color coordinate it, who knows where we would be now, right? And so what was really funny, and what I said in this was, our goals in 2015 were, saving for the SUV, when we were going to get our boat, when we were going to get our new truck, which all of those things happened, and you can see on here, like 1 year, and this was like, we're going to save between June of 2016 and June of 2019, and I'm going to save up for a $20,000 to $30,000 Suburban. Okay. So some of the things that changed here, reality was, we bought the SUV in May of 2016. So literally a month before we even planned to start saving for it, number one. Number two, I bought a $13,000 Suburban. You see here where my goal is save 20 to 30,000. You see how not only did the time speed up, the amounts got less, because I was like, I really don't need a 30,000 Suburban, like a $30,000 Suburban. That's a little crazy. Like, I can haul some babies around in a $13,000 Suburban, and guess what? It's still sitting in the driveway, and I love it, and I'm good. Like, I'm good. Okay. And the same thing with the boat. Our goal was to save for the boat between June of 2017 and June of 2019. And we bought the boat in March of 17. Again, before we even planned to start saving for it. And again, our goal was to save 10 to 15,000, and we bought a $6,800 boat, a $6,000 boat. So yeah. Okay. So the truck though, our goal was to save from 2019 to 2022. We all know what that means. Like, we wouldn't even have our truck now, and we have almost had it for 2 years now. Again, March will be 2 years. In a few weeks, it'll be 2 years. And we weren't even supposed to be done saving for it yet. Like, does that not blow your mind? And like I said, like, we didn't change careers. This was all, we went way down in house. We didn't spend $30,000 on a Suburban like we were going to. We didn't spend $15,000 on a boat. We cut back our lifestyle. We were like, nope. Shrink. minimize. And then with our truck, we did spend $25,000 on our truck. We were like $49 or $51 short, whichever way it was, short of $25,000. $25,000 was our budget. And my husband was like, when he called and he went to Houston, made the deal, did the whole thing. He called and he was like, I came in under budget, because the joke was, with my Suburban, he went $300 over budget. He's like, I came in under budget. And I'm like, how much? $50. And I was like, cool. Sure. Better than the other way around. So my point, and then things like the four-wheelers, we sold our land. So we did, that's scratch. Bass boat, we're like, no, we're good. We realized that like we could fish from the family boat. We're good. In-ground pool, nope, because we sold the house. Like, paying off my land, this land here was like my raw piece of land. I sold it. Yep, don't have to pay it off anymore. The house, don't have to pay it off anymore, because we sold it as well. So, all the things here. And so then bam, we get to make a new goals list. And we did. And obviously, like, a couple months later, I updated this, and anytime we would like hit a goal early, I would update this, and I have them all over here in my binder, and I save them. And one day, now is one day, 5 years later, I'm like, wow. But think of like 20 years from now, when we're millionaires, and I'm going to be like, wasn't I cute when I started this? Go old Sammy. You were so smart thinking about this. Yeah. So I just want to encourage you guys that, like, that might be what your goals look like now, and they might be like in I'm just reading y'all's comments, sorry. When you get a taste, Becky says, when you get a taste of your money and how hard you work for it, it really feels for something that can cost that much. Yeah. And you start wanting to spend less. Oh my God, yes, for sure. I'm just like, yeah, for sure. You're just like, I don't really actually want that expensive of a vehicle. And plus, I see how many crumbs and crap that my kids put in my $13,000 vehicle. And I'm just like, they would have just got it sticky anyways. Yeah. Becky's like, I find that now exactly what Sammy is saying. I have a little account with my fund money, and the more it gets in there, the less I want to spend it. Exactly. Because you have more of a value on that money, right? And you have broken the mindset that has got you into just like barreling through it. And so it really changes your perspective on a lot of things. Okay. So I also have, I don't know that I shared this in, like the actual challenge page. So if anyone is looking to kind of dig more into their goals, I do leave my replay up for my goal setting 101 workshop. And it's just sunnysideuplife.com/goals. And if you go to the homepage of the website and you click on the freebies drop down, you'll see it in there. And it's just a replay of the workshop. And where I really dig into, it's like an hour and a half, however, workshop length of how to set up your goals. And I even I bust open with my power sheets, which is what I use to set my goals. I tell you how you can use the power sheets on your debt-free journey, how if you don't want to buy the power sheets, how you can hack it and do your own thing. And I give you a lot of the prompts. So, if the power sheets aren't in your budget, you can still set goals. And so I talk a lot about that. And it's really, really helpful. I've done it twice now. I've done it 2 years, I think 2 years in a row, maybe 3. And it's just been super helpful for a lot of people. So if you're like, what is this word goals? I've never really set goals, which was totally me back in the day. That notebook piece of paper, that was my goals. That was it. I didn't have personal goals. I didn't have marriage goals. I didn't have business goals. It was money. I want to save money and buy stuff. That was as far as I got. So that's a really good place to start, is that free workshop. So it's sunnysideuplife.com/goals, or just go to the freebies tab and you'll see the goal setting 101 workshop. And again, it's free. It's just a replay of a workshop that I did back in October, I believe. And this is my internet connection is unstable. Okay, well, and the 2020 power sheets, the full year they just sold out the other day, but they do have the 6-month undated. So you can start, in February or March or whatever, and you can still do them and you can still set goals. And so those are for sale now. So if you're interested in that. Okay. One more thing before we go. I talked about in the day 7 part of the challenge, again, my, digital budgeting system, which I have screen shared with y'all in the last 2 videos. And I won't really get you into all of that, but I'm going to just show you real quick the little debt section on that. And then I'm going to show you my super favorite thing. What I don't understand is how to screen share when my screen is small. This is my problem every time. I need to figure that out when I'm not actually recording. Okay. So on here, so again, this is the start here page. This is the same thing we were digging into the other nights. And so it just has a little section on here, and most of this is just for your reference. And Megan and I went back and forth a lot on how much to dig into the debt. And she's so the great thing about us collaborating on this budgeting system is that she is at the very beginning of her debt-free journey, a year in, not even a year in. And I'm not towards the end, but you know what I mean? And so we both kind of have a different perspective. And so it was really awesome for us to collaborate and be well, I would use it like this. Okay, no, well, I would use it like this. So how can we make it work for everybody on both of our ends of the spectrum and everybody in between? So we went back and forth a lot on how to do the debt section. And I was like, well, if y'all know Marilee from Easy Budget, she has her debt snowball calculator, and that thing is amazing. And I'm going to show it to y'all in just a second. And I was like, and I'm super good friends with Marilee, and I'm an affiliate for her debt calculator, and Megan has used it as well, and she like is currently using it. And she's like, I mean, I feel like why reinvent the wheel? I mean, like Marilee's, it's done so beautifully. So we're going to just like keep this really simple. So on ours, we kept it really simple. Most of this is just for reference. So you can go in here and really all of it is for reference on here. And you can print it out. Like you could do your own thing. You could like, go in here and just like make a blank and be like, blah, blah, blah. I want to print this out. I want to check things off or do like I did with the little, hashing out things and doing all that. So you can go in here and you could be like, okay, like I have a Discover card and it's like credit card 1, and you can put all your interest rate and your balance. And this is more or less like for your reference. And it doesn't really go anywhere, which was kind of like our debate as like, how detailed do we want to get into doing all this? Okay. And then really the only thing on here that you can do with your debt is obviously you can put your regular monthly payments in here as a bill because it is a bill. And then you have a space here when you're estimating of anything that's left over, I can put towards debt, right? So say you start with like $3,000, okay? And then, you've done your spending, you've done your bills, and you're like, oh, hey, cool, I'm going to have $1,100 left over. So you're like, sweet, I want to put $1,100 towards my extra debt. You should probably do it plus, Sammy. Hello. There you go. And, and you can kind of estimate that. And then when you actually go to pay it, you can do that here in your regular register. And I went ahead and did that earlier just because I was like getting ready to talk to y'all. And we don't have the drop downs, which I thought we did, where it could be like Discover card, blah, 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 blah. And I made a note for Megan. So maybe that will be an update in the future. But I could have sworn that we did. But anyway, you can go in and you can do that. And it's as simple as like you're paying a bill and it gives you a spot to pay extra on it. And that's really as far as we got with that, because things like Marilee's debt snowball calculator are just fantastic. Yes, Deidre, it is amazing. I'm obsessed with it. And we already have like so many notes for upgrades, and it's my life. And I'm working on right now, y'all might have seen the other day that I shared about like our net worth growth or whatever. And so I'm kind of working on like doing a wealth tab of like how to calculate your net worth and like how to make pretty charts and all of that. And so Megan's about to hear about that. I don't even know that I've told her that yet. She's going to be like, what in the world? She told me we've got to get all the bugs worked out of this one before I start making another one, making more upgrades. So this is the Easy Budget calculator, and it is $16.99, and I think that is worth every dollar. And I honestly, like I told Marilee, I'm like, where was this when I was in debt? This literally did not exist, and I'm so mad. And I was like, I just want to use it. I mean, not bad enough to go back into debt, of course, but like, hello, it's beautiful. So the super cool thing about this is, hello work. So I did get a mouse. If y'all were like on the other videos and you heard me talking about my problem here, I got a Bluetooth mouse. My life has changed. But it's different than my old mouse. So I'm like trying to make things work. And I'm not good at Excel. Geez Louise, let me type. Y'all, what am I doing? Hang on. Okay, well, this is supposed to be working. What did I do wrong? Okay, screen sharing has stopped. This is why I like Google Sheets. I'm just going to put that out there. You can use, you actually can use her debt snowball on Google Sheets, but she recommends that you use it in Excel because it works better and faster. Okay, well, I don't know why it won't let me type. Stop. Type in the top function bar. I tried that. Maybe it's because I don't have like an Excel account. That might be like why, because it's like not working. Let me see if I can open it in Google Sheets. No, it's just like, okay, you can just open it in Excel. I need to like save it and do the whole thing. And activate, it says to activate. Oh my gosh. I don't want to try that. I don't want to do the free trial. Okay. We're not going to do the free trial because then they're going to charge me in like a month and I'm not going to do that. So I'm okay. So I'm just going to show it to y'all. Okay, here we go. So basically what you do here is you type in your loan and your name and your balance, and it does all the math for you. Okay, that's what I wanted to show you it's brilliant. And what I told Megan was when we were developing our budgeting system was like, basically I want it to be like Marilee's except for like your whole budget. And Megan's like, got you. We can do that because it's just so smart. So you go in here and you put all of your stuff in here and it does all of the math for you. Like that's what blows my mind. That was what was hard for me was like the interest and the like you pay extra and you go right here and you're like, okay, you know, I'm going to start my debt snowball in March because like I'm just making ends meet right now. I'm not even ready. And then you can put in here like, okay, I have $2,000 that I can allocate to paying my minimum payments, my extra, all of it is here. That's my total debt payment, including your minimum, and you put it here. And the brilliant thing is that it will do all of this math right here for you. And it will pop up in this like little pink box, the month and the year that you can be debt free. And I'm just like, how motivating is that to see that number? And then you can come over here and you're like, okay, well, you know, I sold some stuff from my house. And so like I have an extra $100 and it'll take it'll take a month off or however long it is of your payment. It'll do that math for you. Brilliant. And then you can come over here and you can see like the whole like amortization table thing. So brilliant. I'm obsessed with it. So I'm pretty sure that I put that link in the challenge day, like on the actual website where y'all can go and check it out and get it for yourself. And like I said, I'm affiliate for it and I'm like super obsessed with it. And I have recommended it to so many people. It's just brilliant. So I think that's super helpful. And if you're someone who especially has a lot of debt accounts and it's getting really cluttered and you're like overwhelmed with the interest rates and all of that, I feel like this can be really helpful. And again, it's like another visual where you can see that date going down. You can feel like you're doing something active, you know, and actually making progress and seeing that progress get made. I think that's one of the biggest things is to see it, because sometimes, especially if your debt is a very large number, it feels so big and you feel like you're really not making much progress. But when you see those numbers moving, when you see your like total debt owed going down and you see the timeline getting closer and closer, that's so motivating. And I feel like that's going to be even more motivation to go and find some stuff that you can sell around the house and earn an extra $100 or pick up an extra shift or babysit on the weekends or, you know, whatever you need to do to really hustle and get and start, you know, putting it in that extra side of that extra money. And you're like, I can plug it in and I can take a month off of the timeline and I can do all that. And that kind of stuff is like, that is what makes it happen. And for me, with my little handwritten goal sheets, I rewrote them and rewrote them and rewrote them. And I saved a lot of them because I want to go back and I want to see the progress. But if you don't write them down in the first place, you're not going to have anything to reference in 5 years when you actually do achieve those goals and you actually achieve them earlier and better than you even thought was possible. Like, your brain cannot comprehend the possibilities that are out there for you in 5 years from now, because it's just like compound interest. And what book is that? The Compound Effect, I believe. Where that's basically what he says is like, you take the compound effect, compound interest, and not only do you earn interest on your original money, you earn interest on your interest, right? And it's like, you earn $50, so you earn 5% of that $50 that we paid you last month, and it just keeps building and building and building. And basically, your goals do the same thing. Your mindset does the same thing. And everything, if you apply that compound effect to your entire life, that's what you're going to get. And so a lot of the things that are going to happen in your life 5 or 10 years from now might not even be in your field of vision, because you have to grow so much in between. Like, the possibilities are endless for you, right? And I know that you guys have big goals, because who doesn't sit around? How many of you have ever played the hypothetical, like, if I won the lottery, or if someone just came and like dropped off $1 million and there was like no strings attached, you just have this money, what would you do with it? All of us have done that. All of us have played through that scenario. We have dreams. We could spend the money, right? Like, we could go on the trips. We could do all the cool things. But you guys, we have to set a timeline for those. We have to write it down. We have to actually start actively making progress. I don't want you guys to be one of those people who sits around and goes, yeah, one day I'll start traveling more. One day I'll get a boat. One day I really need to sit down and open that savings account. I really need to increase my 401k contributions. I really, I should do that one day. And here you go. Time just ticking. And 3 years later, and you haven't done anything. And I don't think that any of us, if we were given the option, would choose that. But yet we sit here and we choose it over and over and over again by not doing anything about it. Right? And that just that breaks my heart. Stop selling yourself short. Okay? Get out a piece of paper and write down some goals, even if it's on a piece of notebook paper, even if your handwriting sucks, even if you don't have the fancy pens, who cares? Because in 5 years, what are you going to care about? Like me with my piece of notebook paper. Do you really think that I care that it was on notebook paper? Like, taken from my daughter's school books? Or do you think that I care that I literally own half the things on that goals list? The other things I don't own, because my life has shifted so much that it's way better than I could have ever envisioned it to be. I really don't care how messy my handwriting was. I care that I have 2 paid off vehicles, 2 cash flowed vehicles sitting in the driveway. And that on Wednesday, we're going to take our cash flowed truck and our cash flowed camper, and we're going to go camping for 5 days. And we're literally living what we dreamt about 5 years ago. That's what matters. It doesn't matter that my math was wrong, that I was years off on my calculations, or anything else. So if you take anything away from this challenge, let it be that. Let it be that 5 years ago, 6 years ago, when I started this, I was too scared to even add up my debt. And now here I am. And your goal might not have anything to do with camping or boating. And you might be like, no. But you can take that and you can apply it to whatever your dream is. Okay. And it's totally possible. And if you're, you're kind of unsure of what that horizon really will look like when you get there, trust me, you'll know when you get there. You will know when you get there. It'll present itself to you and it'll be amazing. And I'm just so excited and I'm so proud of y'all for doing this, for investing 8 days in yourself, for going through the steps that it took, for challenging yourself, for asking yourself the hard questions, for going through your bank statements, for logging into those accounts, looking at those numbers. And that's not easy. That is a huge, huge accomplishment. So I hope that you are proud of yourself. And I hope that you are actually giving yourself the credit that you deserve for even signing up, for even taking the first step. Maybe you didn't do the challenge 100% perfectly, because I've done online challenges before and I know that, sometimes we skip a step, sometimes we get a couple days behind, sometimes we skip around. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. It doesn't have to be perfect to be effective. You at least took the first step. You at least did this. Give yourself credit for that. Okay. And then tomorrow, when the challenge is over, take another step. Okay. Take the next step. And I can't be there to push you through every single one, but when you need encouragement, turn on a podcast, listen to some good music, open up a book. Okay. Find a good blog to read, follow good people on social media and keep the momentum going. You've already got it started, right? Objects in motion will stay in motion, blah, blah, blah. We've all heard it. So you're already in motion. Just keep going. Stay in motion. Put it on your to-do list. Okay. All right. So with that being said, I did offer you guys access to my course. Your Sunny Money Method is my budgeting course. It's my full course. It is legit. It will take you on the next steps. You guys got a taste of it here. I literally took some of the prompts, some of the starting steps, for the debt and things like that, the step 1 out of the 10 or 20 steps that are actually in the course, and based the challenge off of that. I basically went into the course and I was like, how can I give them a taste of it? How can I help them? How can I help them take that first step with all of these different aspects? And that's how I outlined the challenge, was from the course. So you guys got a really good taste of it for free through the challenge. And if you thought that the challenge was effective, if you thought that the challenge was motivating, I'm a firm believer in you get what you pay for. And so if you thought that the free was good, imagine what the course is like. Okay. I'm super proud of it. I put my heart into it. Hundreds of women have already been through it. It's 2 years old at this point. You also get my budgeting worksheets. You get free updates. You get access to all of the recorded workshops that I've done in the past, like the Goal Setting 101 workshop where I've left it up. I usually don't leave workshops up. So there are workshops in there that you can't get anywhere else. So maybe you weren't around a year or two ago when I did those workshops. You can go in and you can access them through the course. So there's some other really cool stuff in there. So I did offer you guys a discount, and I did offer it to you guys for $79. And that is as cheap as it's ever going to be. So if you've been wanting to join, now is the time to join through that link. Let me know if you have any specific questions. You can go on the sales page, follow that link, and there is a video in there where it kind of walks you through the course, and it gives you you can look inside through that video. I just did a screen share video and popped around inside of the course so you could really see it. And I'm a firm believer in like it's scary to spend money. And so I really wanted to give you guys a look inside of it, like I've done with the budgeting worksheets. I wanted to screen share with you guys, and I wanted to show you what it was really like, so there weren't any doubts in what you were spending your money on. Because, obviously spending money is a very sensitive topic for all of us, because we're on this journey. I get it. So let me know if you guys have any questions about anything, the challenge topics, anything moving forward, anything that you want me to dig into more. I love getting y'all's questions, and sometimes it does take me a couple of days to get back to you. That's not because I don't want to answer you. That's because I have 3 children, and I do sleep sometimes. But I love y'all's questions, and really it helps me because it helps me know what y'all need. And it helps me know what I need to put in future challenges, future courses, future podcasts, even Instagram posts, just to inspire you guys. And so it's really helpful to me when y'all do ask questions. It's not a bother at all. I get like a lot of like, I'm sorry to bother you. No, like I wouldn't set up an email account if I didn't want y'all to email me. So let me know whatever questions you have, whatever comments you have. I would love to cheer you on. I would love to hear about your progress. I would love a testimonial of the challenge if you don't mind. I would love that. I won't share your last name. I'll just share your first name. And yeah, so this has been really fun to redo this challenge. When I told V, my assistant, I was like, I think, when we were like setting our goals for 2020, I was like, I think I want to redo the Declutter Your Budget Challenge. And she was like, that's a lot of work. And I'm like, yeah, I want to do it. I want to redo all of the lives. I want to rewrite all of the emails. And she's like, okay, when do you want to do this? In January. So, she loves me. So thank you guys so much for doing this. Thank you for investing the time in yourselves. Thank you for showing up for yourselves, for your family, for your future. And I promise you that this time is a drop in the bucket for the kind of benefit that you are going to get from this kind of intentionality in your life. So that is all. I'm really sad to end the challenge, but I'm going to go because it is 9:00. So thank you guys so much. Yeah. Becky said, thanks again for the challenge. Awesome. Oh, they had their first serious money discussion. That makes me so happy. I'm going to go and cry, Oh, you are so welcome. You're so welcome, Michelle. Yes. I have enjoyed it too. Deidre, you're so welcome. Yes. Okay. Well, I'm going to go. Thank you guys so much. And I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.